Hello everybody, welcome back to another French horn lesson. My name is Austris and today I'm going to be talking about how to improve your low range. Let's get started. I know that the low range has been quite a big problem for a lot of horn players. The thing is, you should treat the low range the same way as you treat the high range, just that the low range has different rules. It is as difficult to play very low as it is to play high. For some people it is sometimes easier to play the low range, and for some people it's easier to play the high range. There are several factors which influence how well will you be able to play the low notes. Which mouthpiece do you use? What kind of knowledge do you have of how to play the low range? It depends also on the physiology of your jaw, your tongue, your breathing system, quite a lot of factors. So let's go through all of these one by one. The first one is the mouthpiece. Choosing the right mouthpiece for you is essential. It's also very complicated. Mostly what studies will tell you is that for playing low, you need to have a mouthpiece with a big bore and a deep cup. Most of the times that is true, but there's always exceptions. I would recommend that you find a mouthpiece which has a good ratio between the diameter of the cup, the depth of the cup, and the diameter of the bore. Having a mouthpiece with a wide cup doesn't really contribute that much to playing well low. That is something that has to be adjusted to the thickness of your lips, the shape of your jaw. When you have found the mouthpiece with the right diameter, having one with a bigger bore and with a deeper cup will certainly help you to improve your low notes. But depth of the cup, the diameter of the cup, and the diameter of the bore have to be in good balance. Now let's go to the technique. The rules for playing low are complete opposite of playing high. For the low notes, you need a large quantity of air and slow speed. And for high notes, you need a small quantity and high speed. If you want to improve your low range, the first thing that you need to train is your breathing system. You can check out the horn course for beginners lesson 1. I have some breathing exercises there. The next thing about the jaw and embouchure. The jaw has to go quite a lot more down when you're playing low notes. And the mouthpiece can also sometimes be placed a little bit more on the lower lip. It also depends embouchure to embouchure. I have an embouchure where I need to put the mouthpiece in a little bit different position. The jaw has to also go a bit forward, and the opening between the teeth has to be larger. Every note has a certain setting, a certain balance between all of these things which I just mentioned. The articulation in the low range has to be a bit more da instead of ta. In general, articulating the low notes is going to be a lot more difficult than in the middle range. Now I'm going to show you a couple of exercises which I know for sure are going to improve your low range. The first one is the easiest. I would recommend that you start with this one. This is going to help you open up the low notes one by one. You have to start the phrase softly, and at the end of the phrase you need to make a huge crescendo. It is very difficult to play loudly in the low range, and by doing that you will train these muscles here. I like to call them the stabilizer muscles. They stabilize the position of the jaw. When you start to play the low notes loudly, there is a lot more resistance in the mouthpiece. If those muscles are not strong enough, the jaw is just going to go back. First time you can play it legato, so without the tongue, and in the second variation you can play the quarter notes as 8 notes staccato. And make sure that 80% of the note is air and 20% is the tongue. The next two exercises are for the flexibility. The first one is in the range of an octave. Very often I like to begin my practice session with this exercise. Before you do the second exercise, I have to explain to you one more technical thing. A lot of people have two embouchures, the normal one and the low one. I'm not exactly sure if there is someone who doesn't have these two set of embouchures. Maybe there's someone who can play everything with one embouchure. Maybe Radek Baborak, I'm not sure. Haven't asked him yet. But there is going to be a certain point where your embouchure is going to switch to the low horn embouchure. After that breaking point, there is a drastically different setting for your jaw, the opening between the teeth, and also for the tongue. If your embouchure breaking point is low enough, then this exercise is also going to help you to switch in between the normal embouchure and the low embouchure. Make sure that the transition is as smooth as possible and that there are no sudden increases or decreases in volume. The last two exercises are articulation exercises. The first one is the easiest. It is pretty straightforward, so I don't really have to explain to you much, only that you should think in your head more da instead of ta. The second exercise is a little bit more difficult. This one you have to do in quite a fast tempo, and do not stop in between the scales. This exercise has to be done without any breaks. In the beginning you can do it in a relatively slow tempo, but I would recommend that you speed up later. That was it. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial will help you. Please leave in the comments what are your thoughts of playing low on a horn. I'm curious if you had any other difficulties that I haven't talked about in this tutorial. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button, because it really helps to bring this video to more people. Subscribe and hit that bell button to be the first to know when a new video is released. Have a good day.